let's talk about how to create an effective press plan in the new year for your clients. Obviously, this is a great time of year to do this. So why should you create a press plan? It lets you show initiative with the client and make sure that they see you as proactive, as thinking strategically, as planning and giving enough runway to be successful with all of their initiatives, their launches, and things they have going on in the new year. You're ready to get ahead of the game, and clients see that, and you can collaborate with the marketing team and plan ahead for their launches and get the assets you need from them with enough time to really be successful and time it the right way with when their launches and their initiatives are happening and the media starts to come in, and have it be like really aligned, that strategic timing. So we developed a press plan template for our Pitch Lab members. And we just shared that out with the Pitch Lab members. And it's basically like a template, like a spreadsheet. Well, there's two. So there's a template that is like a document, and it shows the different sections, and I'll talk about it, objectives and tactics and strategies and goals and all of that. Goals at the top, client goals. But then also, so you kind of fill in the different things that your clients are working on and your tactics and your approach. And it's like a spreadsheet, and it kind of shows you the year and long and short lead and like where they kick in and what the clients' launches and other initiatives are, and how to fill in different times of year. And we'll talk about this, like those set in stone holidays and things that people talk about in the media consistently at the same time every year. So that's in there. Just kind of, you can check into it that way if you aren't really sure where to start or how to just start fresh for the new year for a client. And then it's visual, and it could be a shared document, and you're always adding to it. And it really shows the client, you're really locked in for the first 6 months, and you're planning ahead for the second half of the year, and they can see what that runway looks like. And then if dates change, you can move things around on the calendar, but it's really helpful to see it visually and see how it all runs together. So we have all of that, this kind of 6-month press plan template in our Pitch Lab just to make your life easier. But a press plan should kind of layer in all of the different things that are going to be important and relevant for your client. And we kind of look at it in terms of 3 layers. So layer 1, like I mentioned, are those easy, like always going to be there, the holidays, the seasonal trends, the themes that are usually happening at the same time each year, back to school, summer travel, Memorial Day barbecues, dry winter skin, obviously the holidays like Christmas, New Year, Hanukkah, Diwali, anything. And also January, we know, is like new year, new you, how to keep your resolutions, why resolutions are the wrong way to go about it, why resolutions fail, and kind of get into that conversation about how to actually have meaningful change in your behaviors and your habits. That's always a talk in January or February. Have you already dropped your resolutions, or have your resolutions already failed? They always want to make you feel like you're a big failure and then sell you something. Get in on that, don't be negative, but those things are always there. Valentine's Day, the topics are always similar every year. COVID definitely threw us for a loop because travel halted, just grinded to a halt, anything in the hospitality industry, restaurant industry. So the timing around that was obviously different. And holidays, the shift was not about getting together with family. It was, how do you celebrate when you can't get together with family? So that was a little bit different, but those times of year are always talking about the same things. And this was just a new kind of layer. Maybe it's, how do you, reemerge successfully in a post-COVID era? So that's the layer 1. Those are the set in stone holidays, seasonal trends, things that are happening at the same time every year. Valentine's Day, summer's usually weddings. All of that happens similar timing. August is back to school. you've got the Oscars. What is it usually, like in March, I think? I don't know. So those things tend to come up year after year in the media. And those we have in our calendar so you can see where they fall. Okay, layer 1. And then layer 2 are launches and marketing initiatives. This is where it really comes in handy, to get on the phone with your clients, get on a planning call if you don't have something on the calendar. Then use this last little bit before you decide to kind of ride off into the sunset to get on the phone with clients. You can take one of your biweekly calls and just say, this is going to be a strategy planning session, and get on with them and talk to them about their upcoming launches, their internal marketing initiatives, at least through the first 6 months of the year. I would love for you to get at least some visibility to the rest of the year, but they should essentially have their Q1 dates locked down. You probably should have already been planning for this, but you want to hear about Q2 and the whole maybe second half of the year. They may not have specific dates locked down for the year, but get a timeline to the best of your ability, because you're going to have to plan in advance. You need your assets for clients. You need like product descriptions, all the details, obviously imagery. You would love high-res product shots on a white background. It would be awesome to have some lifestyle photography. I realize not every client can offer that to you. Maybe you have a service where you provide that to clients. I'm talking about get in there with them and just sink your tentacles into their business, because showing your value is the way to be able to stick around long-term. That's what I want for you, long-term contracts. So that's how you can show them that you're going to support them with all of their success. You don't have to. Like, we definitely, for most clients, are not providing product photography. Our clients come to us and they have that, but you're going to need it. And if they don't have it, you're not going to be successful. So they have to get it. So maybe you can help them, and then you show how valuable you are to them. And you definitely want to know these things ahead of time so that you're not left unprepared when a client announces a launch. And we've had them do this. They're like, yeah, we're launching a new product next week. And we're like, come again? What? Like, do you think that your PR firm should know about that? And they don't think to tell you. So you have to get on the phone and ask them. They will not always tell you. So that's a strategy planning session, right? And getting a solid runway for things in advance. So you're now layering into the calendar their launches, their initiatives, their things that they're up to, like any sort of a brand recognition or something they do every year. Maybe it's like one of their environmental causes. They do like a beach cleanup in the summer, and you want to get a lot of influencers to attend. That should be on your radar. Okay, so that's, marketing initiatives and launches for them, product launches. And then layer 3, you're going to plan for long and short lead where there's nothing else. So those are the hero products, or the times where you're filling in the gaps with hero products. Where there are sort of gaps, it is your job to keep your clients relevant in the eyes of the media. That's your job. So if there are no upcoming projects or launches for a client, you still have to pitch them to the media. You still need to get results. So what are you going to do? This is where we use like hero products, products that are just cult status, or we sort of position them as cult status, or if they sell out, that's newsworthy. It's something the brand is known for. It's their signature service. It's their signature products. Maybe you use the founder story, or you pitch the founder for podcasts or business pitches. Those are sort of during the dead times of year. And not every client is going to have the same cadence of pitching, because music industry clients are absolutely different. And author clients are going to be centered around a book launch and a book tour. So there aren't always the same types of pitches for all types of clients. So when you have these sort of dead zones, that's when you have to come up with other ways to keep them relevant. So that is founder stories. It could be, struggles the founder had when they were developing their company or developing their signature offer. It could be lessons learned along the way. It could be just, sharing their expertise, getting them out there, getting them visible. Also just planning. We've asked clients too, do you have any products that are kind of under the radar? Like they're really good, but maybe you didn't do a launch around them before we got here and people don't really know about them. We can leverage those products too. If they're really great, they have a certain ingredient. You're responsible for keeping things fresh and relevant, even if there is nothing from the client that's new to work with. So like I said, take tips from the CEO, dig into them, maybe expand on one tip and create like a pitch around that. Can you take an existing product and offer it up for a fresh way? One thing that we did do, so for a hair care brand, that we represent a lot of beauty brands, they hadn't released a new product in 2.5 years. And so they had this really beautiful deep conditioning hair mask in like a tub, like that sort of paste consistency, really moisturizing, and had a very luxurious smell and spa-like smell. So we came up with the idea to scoop a little bit out, plop it on a plate, stick it in the microwave for 30 seconds, get it warm, and put it in your hair and put on saran wrap, not super glamorous, or like a head wrap towel or something, and leave it on for half an hour. And now you have a deep penetrating hair mask. Okay. So this product had been on the line for 2.5 years. When we pitched that out, we got so much press, like top tier beauty press for that. Just a new way to use an old product. And it just was different, and it was received like gangbusters. So think in those terms too. Was there a product that got a lot of attention and there's another angle or approach for that product that's equally compelling? The other thing you could do is highlight the benefits, how it solves a problem, the ingredients that have never been featured before, what's remarkable about it. That's like the third layer. So you're looking at the calendar and you're not going to be pitching their everyday products, or not their everyday products, but their existing products during your launch period or during other major initiatives that they have, or during the holidays, unless it really is aligned with that angle. So, if clients are like, you need to be pitching everything at all times, you have to say that's not how it works. It's just not how it works. Like, we're going to leverage your, catalog of products when we need to, but launches take precedence, and, seasonal trends, angles, we know the media are going to be talking about, that's a priority. Okay. So that's layer 3, are, really filling in the gaps with hero products, or leveraging things the CEO has said, pitching them for interviews or business features. They take a long time. You need to tell them that those are a little bit harder to secure and they take longer, because you have to really share the story and get in there and like get in the nitty gritty and get somebody to give your client that much attention and want to tell their story in a compelling way. So it takes longer. Tell them that. But like I said, a really good way to do this monthly is through the Pitch Lab, and they'll give you exactly what you need and what you should be doing kind of 1 to 2 months ahead of time. And then we just release this like annual kind of calendar template and the press plan template. Okay, so then, and also here's another thing, in the Pitch Lab, we have an entire like module all on the press plans and really explaining these things. So your final press plan has to cover these things. I'll tell you what they are, and just know that our template has it in there to remind you and to let you know what to ask for. And we go in deep explaining what each one is and how they're different, how you position these things to clients, and really put together a press plan that's going to move the needle for them, going to make you look really good, show them that you totally get what they're up to, what their, objective, their goals are. So, okay, you are going to cover your goals, your clients' goals. That's at the top. That's like the big dreams that they have for PR. I was talking to my friend from law school, and she was like, I hired a publicist and they didn't get anywhere. They weren't getting it. They weren't getting it. And I asked her first question, well, what are your goals for PR? like, what are you looking to accomplish? She was like, I don't know. What do you mean? And I said, like, what are you trying to have happen as a result of having a publicist and getting media attention? She was like, well, I don't know. And I said, new clients? She was like, yeah, that'd be nice. I said, well, how do you get your clients? And she said, it's all word of mouth. And I'm like, okay, so probably media. Like, do you think that if you got an article, you would get, she represents like sports teams, like major national sports teams, NFL, NBA, MLB. And she was like, no, my clients wouldn't generally be reading an article. I'm like, okay, so is it about thought leadership? And she's like, I don't know that I really care about that. I'm like, so what do you want PR to do? Like, how is your PR pro going to know how to support you and what your goals are, how to create a strategy when you haven't shared any goals? She was like, So that's number one. Sit down with clients, really figure out their big dreams, their hopes. What is it that they're looking to achieve with PR? So that if you get it, it's a home run. And then two is your strategy. So how will you execute and work to achieve these goals? It's not the tactics. That's the what. This is the how. Like, what are the big, like the things you're going to execute and work to achieve these goals. So we dive more into what specifically they are in the pitch lab. There's an entire lesson on this, but just know it's like goals, strategy, objectives, tactics. So objectives are, and I know you all hate this and I don't love it either, but it's these specific measurable outcomes that you're working towards. So if you achieve them, that's successful. If you can measure it, that you've gotten it. Maybe it's, we don't love saying a certain number. Maybe it's like a certain percentage of growth or, over the 6-month period, like a number of top tier outlets or a certain increase in press from before, or, the volume of media you're going to reach out to. Like, what do you want to connect it to, or the visibility? Like, choose something the client's satisfied with, but you think you probably are going to achieve, and then surpass it. We want to exceed expectations. But this is where you get in alignment with their expectations. Goals are your client's big dreams for PR. What do they want it to achieve? Big picture. Outreach strategy is how are you going to execute and work towards achieving those goals? The objectives are specific measurable outcomes that you're working towards. Can you measure it? Impressions, visibility, other KPIs that are important to them. You work to establish those KPIs. Those are your objectives. And then tactics. This is the specific activity and efforts you will complete as part of your outreach strategy. So the pitch angles, who you're pitching it to, what the follow-up approach might be, all of that, those are your tactics. So sometimes people confuse strategy with tactics. Tactics are the actual activities. Like, what are you physically doing every day for them to work towards those objectives that will secure that goal for the client? And this is explained in detail in the pitch lab. So I hope that clarifies. And then, of course, a pitching calendar. So we just went over that, and then we have those templates, but it should incorporate those set in stone elements, the info you gathered from the client on launches, marketing objectives, and holidays, seasonal themes, other like marketing initiatives, and then you break it down month by month. And it could just be an Excel spreadsheet or a Google Sheet. That's what we share with you in the pitch lab. And you fill it in. You just get on the phone with clients, and maybe you make a copy of it. You sort of clean out anything that was left over, as an example from my client, and you're all working in the shared document. That's how we did it. We all got in the shared document, and we're like, okay, what do you have coming up? What are those launches? And then you back into the timing, long and short lead when you're pitching. And that's how we do our plans inside the pitch lab, our monthly execution plans, backing into the timing that what media is thinking about and when, so you have that ready to go. So that's what it will include, your final press plan. We have a template for it, but it's goals, strategy, objectives, tactics, and this pitching calendar, shared calendar if you want it to be, and just seeing the big picture for the year. And then you're in there, you're like in the nitty gritty with your clients. You're the one who has the roadmap for their success.